Okay, everyone is back. Okay, we'll continue. Right. Okay, so we saw about Purvanga, which is Sarigama, and Uttaranga, which is Padanisa. Now, of this Sarigama Padani, Sa and Pa are called Prakriti Swaras. Prakriti Swaras means natural Swaras. They came out very naturally. And it is also called Avikruta. That means they don't distort. Achala, they don't move. Okay, they are not distorted swaras, they cannot be distorted. And they are achala, they don't move from their swaras sthanas, from their places. Okay, so that is why they are called natural swaras. Okay, and Adhara Shruti, Sa, is also called as Grihaswara, home swara. Grihaswara. Griha means home. So it is also called a home note, the place where you start. Okay, so the other 5 notes, Re, Ga, Ma, Da, and Ni, are called Vikruti Swaras because there are variations in these notes. Vikruti. Okay, they can be modified. So these notes can be modified. That's what's called Vikruti. Okay. So how are they modified? They're modified in different ways, and that is called as, and they take different places. So that is what is Swarasthana. So there is a place for every note, and that place determines its sthanas. Okay. Now, how many sthanas are you seeing on the screen?
Sir, 12.
12 of them, right? We talked about 22 Shrutis, but you are seeing only 12 of them. Okay, we will further explore what it is. Okay. Now, first we'll understand 12, then we'll go to the 22. Now, of these 12, the first one is your Adhara Shruti or Sajjam, Sa. So that's your Adhara Shruti. Then Re 1 is called Shuddha Rishabham. That means pure Rishabha. Re, that is pure Rishabha. Now Re 2 is called Chatushruti Rishabham. Chatushruti Rishabham. That means 4 Shrutis. And Re 3, the fourth note, is called Shat Shruti Rishabham. 6 Shrutis Rishabham. Okay. So what it means is, between Sajjam and Shat Shruti Rishabham, there are 6 levels. So there is a gap. This is Sajjamam, this is Rishabham. There are 6 levels. Ekashruti, Dvishruti. Okay. Trishruti, Chatushruti. Panchashruti, Shatshruti. So there are 6 levels. But of these 6 levels, they have chosen Ekashruti as your Shuddha Rishabham. Chatushruti as your Re 2, Chatushruti. And Re 3 is your Shatshruti Rishabham. So why they have chosen this one is because that is clearly distinguished and audible, right? So you can differentiate between one Re and the other Re by listening to it. So that's why this particular difference has come. But the other Re's also exist, and they also get used in certain ragas. In Carnatic music, that specialty is there, right? We may use Panchashruti Rishabha, we may use Trishruti Rishabha, okay, which are not obviously audible. Okay. In certain ragas, you will suddenly find that we are using a different Re. It is neither Chatushruti nor Shashruti, so it may be Panchashruti. It is neither Dvishruti or Chatushruti, it may be Trishruti. So this you will learn with experience also. When you start identifying ragas and you know the Swarasthanas of each note, then automatically your ear will tell, no, this is something different, this is some different re. Okay. So that time if you explore, you will find out that it is something in between these notes. Okay. So for now, there is Sajjama, Shuddha Rishabha, Chatushruti Rishabha, Shatshruti Rishabha. Okay. Now Gandhara, you see that Gandhara G1 is starting at Re 2. So they both share the same level. Okay. And it is called Suddha Gandharam when it is first Gandhara. And second Gandhara is called the Sadharana Gandharam, which shares the space with Shatshruti Rishabham. Okay. Sadharana Gandharam. Third one is Antara Gandharam. That is Gatri. Okay. So Shuddha Gandharam, Sadharana Gandharam, Antara Gandharam. So there were three Ris, Suddha Rishabha, Chatushruti Rishabha, Shatshruti Rishabha, and three Gandharas, Suddha Gandharam, Sadharana Gandharam, and Antara Gandharam. Okay. Now Ma 1 is Shuddha Madhyama. It does not share the space with anybody else. Antara Gandhara also is not sharing space with anybody else. It's on its own. Okay. It is on its own. Now, this Madhyama are two. One is Shuddha Madhyama, second one is Prati Madhyama. Okay. Then you get Panchamam. So now Sajjam and Panchamam are not moving. There are no variations. So you can see there is no Ekashruti Sajjam or Dvishruti Sajjam, nothing like that. Similarly, Panchamam, there is nothing like Suddha Panchamam, Prati Panchamam, nothing like that. So there's just Sajjam, there's just Panchamam. Now you understand the meaning of Achala, Avikruti, or Prakrutik Swaras, right? So the Prakriti Swaras are Sajjama and Panchama. They don't move, so it is called Achala. They don't modify, so it is called Avikruti, right? Next, you see the Da 1, Da 2, and Da 3. It is same as Re 1, Re 2, Re 3. Shuddha Daivatam, Chatushruti Daivatam, Shatshruti Daivatam. Here you saw Shuddha Rishabham, Chatushruti Rishabham, Shatshruti. And in the Uttaranga, you are seeing Shuddha Daivatam, Chatushruti Daivatam, and Shatshruti Daivatam. Now, Chatushruti Daivatam shares the space with Shuddha Nishadam, just like how Rishabham shares space with Shuddha Gandharam. Okay, so you have Da2 and Ni1 sharing the space, Da3 and Ni2 sharing the same space. And here the name changes. Shuddha Nishadam, it is not Sadharana Nishadam, it is Kaisiki Nishadam, and then Kakali Nishadam. Okay, so you have that. So I'm just moving it. Yeah. Shachruti Daivatam shares space with Kaisiki Nishadam, and Ni 3 is called Kakali Nishadam. So there is a Shuddha Nishadam, Kaisiki Nishadam, and Kakali Nishadam. So now count individual names: Sajjama, Shuddha Rishabha, Chatushri Rishabha 3, Shuddha Gandhara 4, Shatshruti Rishabha 5, Sadharana Gandhara 6, Antara Gandhara 7, Shuddha Madhyama 8, Prati Madhyama 9, Panchama 10, Shuddha Daivata 11, then Chatushruti Daivata 12, Shuddha Nishada 13, Shashruti Daivata 14, Kaisiki Nishada 15, Kakali Nishada 16. Right? So you see that there are 16 different notes, but sharing how many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So go on counting, it is 12. So 12 spaces are taken by 16 different notes in Carnatic music. Okay. This part is understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I will show you in a visual manner. I'll just share it again. Right. So you're able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you might have seen the keyboards, right? Typical keyboards. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white keys and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 black keys. 7 plus 5 is how much?
12.
12. And what did we saw here in the previous slide?
12 Swara.
Right. So that's exactly what is there in your keyboard. There are 12 Swarasthanas, right? And this is Sajjama. C is your Sajjama. And this black note is the Shuddha Rishabha. Okay. And this is your Chatushruti Rishabha. And again, black note here is Shashruti Rishabha or Sadharana Gantara. And this is Antara Gantara. This is Shuddha Madhyama, Prati Madhyama, Panchama. G is your Panchama. Shuddha Daivata, G sharp. Okay. Then Chatushruti Daivata or Shuddha Nishada, A. A sharp is your Shatshruti Daivatam or Kaisiki Nishadam. B is your Kakali Nishadam. Again, C is your upper octave. It's a next octave which starts from there. So 12 notes and you have names for all these 12. Okay. But one difference is these are all fixed. In a harmonium or a keyboard, your white key, black key, the frequency is fixed. Whenever you touch that note, you will only get that particular note. But in Carnatic music instruments like veena, violin, or flute, they are not fixed. It actually moves by your placement of fingers or how much you are opening in your flute, right? So they are not fixed. They can be varied. There is it's the entire interval is there between sa and re. You can decide where to place your fingers or how much to open the hole and produce a particular note. Okay, so that freedom is there in Carnatic music, which is absent in the Western music, right? The advantage in Western music is that you can play 2 or 3 keys at the same time. You can press C, E, and G, all the 3 together. But you cannot do that in any of the Carnatic music instruments. Can you play Sa, Ga, Pa at the same time in a flute? Same time. You cannot. You can either play Sa, or you can play Ga, or you can play Pa. Only one note at a time. In violin also, you can play one note at a time. But Westerners, they use violin differently. They play on 2 strings at the same time. Okay. Whereas in India, in Carnatic music, they use only 1 string for playing a note. Okay. So you cannot play 2 or 3 notes at the same time on the same string. Maybe on different strings you can play. Same thing with Veena also. You cannot play 2 or 3 notes at the same time on the same string. Okay. So that is why Indian music is called, it's a melody based music. Okay. And the Western music is called harmony based music. A harmony is nothing but when 2 or 3 notes are played at the same time, you hear a sound like a chord, right? It's called a chord. So when the chord sound is heard, it is called a harmony, right? We also have a name for harmony in Carnatic music. It is called Vadi, Samvadi. Samvadi means harmony. When they are played together, they don't create a, a disturbance or a distortion. Okay, so they sound just like they are in unison. Okay, they are in harmony. So that is why they called it as harmonized notes, samvadi. They all sound same. Then when the notes are different and they don't sync, they can be heard separately. When I play, let's say for example, sa, ga, and pa are played together. Sa, antaragantara, and panchama. When these 3 notes are played together, you can hear the harmony. But you play sa and then you play re, the Chatushri Rishabham, and then you play the ma. You may not hear the same effect. Or you play C, E, and F together. You will not be feeling that harmony. The reason is they don't create that kind of harmony. They are different frequency, and these frequencies can be heard separately, cannot be heard together. It's not pleasing to hear together. So that is called Samvadi and Vivadi. In Carnatic music, we call it as Samvadi if it is harmonized, Vivadi if it is not harmonized. There is a rule which says that when it will be Samvadi, when it will be Vivadi. Okay. So in Western music, they call as the rule of the fourth note, rule of the fifth note. So the fourth and fifth note usually will sync. Okay. So what is the fourth note? If C is your first note, D is your second note, E is your third note, F is your fourth note. That is Sa is your first note, then Ma is your fourth note. You play Sa Ma. When Sa and Ma are heard together, you will find some sync. Okay. Sa Pa between first and fifth note. Again, you will find some sync. It is not only for Sa and Ma, Sa and Pa. It is also for Re and Da, Re and Pa. So Pa is the fourth note for Re, and Da is the fifth note for Re. So when you play Re and Da together, or um, Re and Pa together, you will find there is a harmony. So these are called Samvadi notes, the rule of the fourth or rule of the fifth. Okay, so this much you have learned today, Sthanas. So try to remember these names. So this is important. Start using those names. You may not be so much used to saying this. So in the classes, when you're learning a raga, try to understand what is the arohana and avarohana made up of. For example, if you take Mohana, what are the different swaras in Mohana? What is the arohanam, avarohanam? Can anybody tell?
Sa and Shadjam, then Chatushruti Rishabham,
Hmm.
Antara Gandharam,
Right.
and Shuddha Madhyamam. Oh wait,
Madhyamam
there's
not
no
there.
Madhyamam.
Hmm.
Pa is there, Panchamam,
Right.
then Chatushruti Daivatam,
Hmm.
and Kakali Nishadam.
There's no Kakali Nishadam.
Okay, then Kaishiki Nishadam.
No. Both of them are there. There's no Nishadam in Mohanam. Sa ri ga pa da sa. There's no ni. Sa da
Yeah, yeah.
pa ga ri sa. Right? There's no Nishadam.
Okay.
And there is no Madhyama. So Madhyama and Nishadam are not there. We only have Ri, Ga and Da. These three are present in the Mohanam other than Sa and Pa. Okay. So this Chatushruti Rishabham is used, Antaragantaram is used, then Panchamam, Chatushruti Daivatam, then the higher Sa, Sajjam. Okay. So this makes your Arohana. Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa, Sa, Da, Pa, Ga, Ri, Sa. If you play in this, Sa, Ri, Ga, Pa, Da, Sa, Sa, Da, Pa, Ga, Ri, Sa. So you'll be missing the F, you'll be missing the B on the white notes. Okay. So that is Mohana. So try to understand each raga with these names. So that is the best way to learn these names and start using these names. Okay, because in regular this thing we don't do this. We only say re1, re2, ga1, ga2, and that is very confusing because every book does not have the same kind of notation. Okay, so they have different ways of notating. So somebody will say re1, re2, and re1 is this, re2 is this. They will not mention about re3 at all. They'll just go with ga1, ga2, right? But ga1, what they mean is not this. They mean this one, ga1 and ga2. What we have mentioned as ga2, ga3 is there ga1, ga2 in that book. So that way there are different ways of notating. and it might be confusing if you go just by numbers R1, R2, R3. It is better to know Sajjam, Shuddha Rishabham, Chatushruti Rishabham, Shatshruti Rishabham, and learn those Swarasthanas. So that will help you understand what exactly that note is and how it has to be played or sung. Okay, so this much is enough for today. And what we will do is, in the next class, we'll continue with the rest of them, including the Tala and Tala Sangas, how they are coming. Okay, all of them. So there are a lot of terms, Carnatic music terms. So you can start using those terms when you are learning in the class. Sahitya means lyrics, right?
For the Swarasthanas, can you show the second slide once?
Okay. This slide.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you show the first two slides, sir?
This one or the first of this entire this thing? You're asking this slide, Abhi?
Yes, sir. Sir, Sangita and Nada, sir. That.
Okay. Geetam Vadyam Tatha Nrittam Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate. This is
Yes,
Na.
sir. Sir, can you show? Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope this class was useful for you to understand the terms that are being used. And what I expect is you start using these terms in your, when you are talking to either Soumya madam or to me, start using these terms. That is how you can remember this. Otherwise you will forget. If you're listening in this class, by the time the next class comes, you will forget. Okay, so write down whatever you have learned. What are the new terms that you learned today, and start using those terms in the classes. Okay, we'll learn more. So after Swarasthanas, we have sthayis, we have ragas, we have talas. So we'll learn about all of them in the next class. Okay, any questions, any doubts from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you all. Have a nice
Thank you, sir.
evening. Yeah, bye
Thank you,
bye.
sir. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.